Unfortunately, in most cases, the warning saying service air suspension system in your Grand Cherokee will mean that the compressor has bitten the dust. These suspension compressors tend to overheat a little, which causes premature death, somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 miles. But before you go to the dealership and pay for compressor replacement, you can consider checking several things that may also trigger this air suspension warning, but be cheap or free to fix. First of all, if you see this warning when it's freezing outside, try checking the fuses in the engine compartment fuse box. There are a couple of fuses covering the air suspension system, and they may get fried because of unknown reasons. You may just check all the fuses, since different model years may have slightly different fuse maps, and it's eventually easier to check them all with the multimeter. Just make sure they have continuity between the metal posts. You will need a simple cheap multimeter and 20 minutes of your time to do this, and you will not even need to take them out. Also, if you see that the suspension takes a lot of time to lower, you may consider replacing or inspecting the pressure relief valve. This is a $60 part that sometimes solves this problem and eliminates the air suspension warnings without even touching the compressor. These valves are faulty in Jeep cars, and they are pretty easy to replace. But even if you go to a good shop and ask them to inspect this exact part, this will cost you peanuts compared to any work on the compressor. So it may be worth doing this before you decide to invest in the new compressor. If you're sure that the problem is with the compressor and your Jeep is not under warranty anymore, I have some bad news. Dealers charge north of $5,000 for such repairs, and there are two options to reduce that price that not all Jeep owners know about. First of all, if the vehicle has up to 100k miles on it and isn't that old, you could go to the dealership, pay for an inspection, and get the official diagnosis with compressor replacement advice. Then you may want to contact Mopar and express your annoyance with the situation. Stellantis perfectly knows that air suspension problems are extremely common in the Grand Cherokee, so they may offer coverage for the parts, and you'll be able to pay for labor only. Of course, this won't work if the car is older than 10 years and has like 200,000 miles on it, but still it's worth trying since you don't lose anything. Finally, if you can't get any coverage from Stellantis, you may choose to convert your car to simple coils and struts. The conversion kits start at $1,500, plus you will need 5 to 8 hours of labor depending on the shop. Of course, dealers will not do this, so you should find a good independent shop, but the conversion really looks like a good choice if you want to keep driving your Jeep for many years. Since the air suspension will fail again, this is just a matter of time. Unfortunately, almost all kinds of repairs with these systems are quite expensive.